Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Campus Safety Voices. I'm Robin Hattersley, Editor-in-Chief of Campus Safety. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about how your school can effectively work with other district stakeholders to implement new or upgraded security and safety systems. But before we do that, I just want to remind all of you that this presentation is brought to you by CampusSafetyMagazine.com. We have lots of free resources that will help you make your school, institution of higher education, healthcare facility, or any other type of campus for that matter, safer and more secure. Be sure to visit CampusSafetyMagazine.com for our latest news, articles, webcasts, white papers, videos, and podcasts. You can also register there for our free newsletters. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. You can also listen to our podcast on the go on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All of the links to these free resources are listed in this session's description, so be sure to check them out. So now I'm pleased to introduce today's guest, Lynwood Unified School District Chief of Security, Paul Garcia. Since he began leading his district's security department, Paul has bolstered school safety with an intercom access control system, anonymous reporting system, weapons detection, visitor management, and more. He also implemented active shooter training at all sites, collaborated with the City of Lynwood to implement safe school zones, and realigned the district's school safety task force. All of these reasons and more are why Paul has been named one of this year's K-12 Campus Safety Director of the Year finalists. Today, however, we're going to focus on the technology improvements achieved under his leadership. So without further ado, let's start the interview. Hi, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Robin.
Now, under your leadership, Lynwood Unified School District implemented an intercom access control system, an anonymous reporting system, weapons detection, student internet monitoring, and visitor management, among a whole lot of other things, of course. Please tell us what problems these solutions addressed and why were these systems needed?
Yes. So when I took over as the campus safety chief, we did notice that we did not no longer have a SRO program. So with that, I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of safety measures in place for the district to protect students and staff and along with our guests. One of the things that I first realized was our front entrances to the school sites. Some of them face main entrance buildings that we could have a lot of transients that may be coming in and so forth. So I wanted to put something in place to where when guests come up to the door, they're not just walking in and so forth. What we do is very similar to the ring that you would have at home. So people are able to come up, they push the doorbell, an intercom system comes up, it rings to the secretary or person working the front desk. They're able to have a two-way PA system to speak to them. They can show ID and further let them in. Obviously, if it's somebody that's not is supposed to be there and so forth, they can just let them know that they're calling campus safety, local sheriff department, and they'll move forward without them gaining entry. So that's one of the very first things that we did to put at all of our school sites for our main front doors and our entrances. Another feature that I wanted to look at was having what's called a weapons detection system. And what this is it's I wanted to move away from the old school metal detectors. We use these systems at our local events for obviously graduations, big events that we have. But I wanted the community to feel that they're not walking into an outdated system where they're being checked, having to take off their belts, shoes, and so forth. It's a system that's actually new. It's an AI system that you're able to walk through. You don't have to take anything off. It actually identifies anything that might be metal or something to the nature that might be a weapon. It identifies clearly the location of where it's at on the person's body. It could be on the back leg, their back, their shoulder, anywhere that it might identify. It sends an alert to our staff who's monitoring. Guests come through freely. They do feel a sense of it's a welcoming environment, but they do notice that there is safety measures in place. Some of the other things that we implemented was an anonymous reporting system, which is actually great. What this did was this gives the community, along with students, to anonymously report things that may be occurring or that might occur. In real time, it gives us, we have a district layer 1 of a team that gets these notices, and based on what that anonymous report might be, it might be for mental health, it might be something that local law enforcement might need to be notified. We're able to identify that and deal with the situation accordingly prior to the incidents happening. So there's a lot of good tools that we have here that we brought in, that we're trying to be proactive and ahead of the curve.
So how were you able to convince other district stakeholders like the school board, community, parents, students, teachers, that these upgrades were needed?
Yes, so what we did is the Lynwood Unified School District actually created a district safety task force committee. On this committee, we have many stakeholders. We have board members, we have principals from secondary level, primary level, we have parents, we have our directors of student services, IT, we have other community members as well, city officials, local law enforcement, and we're actually going to be implementing having students participate this upcoming year. And in this committee, what we're doing is we're addressing the incidents that we see in or around the school sites. And what we do as a committee, we actually discuss these incidents and then bring to the table of what we think is going to be beneficial throughout the whole district. Moving forward with that, once the committee is in agreement, we will go out and try to research the things, the new equipment that may be out there, some policies and procedures that we think is best fit for the district. So getting that implementation and that buy-in from everybody helps to move forward decisions for the district.
You know, I've heard from a lot of other school districts and also institutions of higher education that pulling in students is a really good idea, because they see a lot of things that we adults don't, and they don't have a lot of times. We adults, especially if we've been on a site for the, I don't know, 10, 15 years, it's like tunnel vision. It's like
Yes.
Students, they're new. They see things that we don't see, right?
Yes. So we want to get an aspect of different lenses, different eyes and ears. So having that balance of different people sitting on the committee really helps us to identify what the need is for the schools, the sites themselves.
So how was your department and district able to pay for these upgrades? I mean, did you use grants, general fund, private donations, community fundraising? How'd you do it?
Yeah, so actually the district was awarded a COP STOP grant a couple of years back. So some of the funds were used through that source. We also were able to use some ESSER 3 money that we had, and just budgeting for it. One thing that I did notice is sometimes things can be costly, but what I implemented was stages or phases of bringing in certain elements for the equipment. So if it's a level 1, maybe phase 1, I'm sorry, we'll do it for the first year to see how much we can get, and then just budgeting for the years out. And the committee seems to work better in that nature to make sure that we have those levels to get things done in several years out. So it's budgeting.
Yeah. Now, what have been the results of your implementation or installation of these systems? I mean, has crime gone down? Have you been able to detect more weapons? What have been the results?
Yes, so actually crime has gone down. I want to say about 70%. We've been able to
wow. Yes. 770%.
770. Let me get that out there.
Way to go, man.
So based on the equipment that I spoke about, there's a lot of different elements that have. One thing that I'll talk about is our social networking. We've been able to find a lot of things where students are posting on there. They might be having some behavioral, suicidal tendencies or some things. So catching those things ahead of time, we're able to bring in our student services for mental health, helping those students be able to deal with the emotional part. Again, with our weapons detection systems, catching things early, being able to prevent that from coming on to school grounds and so forth. So we've been able to actually identify a lot of things pre-hand and actually keeping things outside from entering for the school. So we've been very successful in our district this past year with a lot of these new things that we brought to the district. So it's been really very, very great.
Well, that's a 70% reduction. That's amazing. So
Yes, it has
congratulations.
been.
Kudos to
Thank
you.
No, it's my team. It's my team that does it. So we're out there.
Now, what advice would you give to other districts looking to upgrade their security and safety systems? And is there anything maybe you would do differently if you had to do it all over again?
So one thing that I do recommend to other districts is ask a lot of questions. You want to see what trials, maybe some equipment that they can bring down to do a lot of test piloting. What I normally do is if I work with a vendor, I ask them to do a test pilot locally at a school first before implementing it district-wide. This helps us to work out any kinks or any bugs that maybe we need to do. When I meet with vendors, I definitely bring in our IT department to work out anything that they need on their side, our maintenance people, whoever might be crucial in making sure that this is successful. So one thing is always looking to do what you can to maximize, dollar. And not every fit is going to be fit for every school. It's all on the need of what you need to do to make safety for each district. But one thing is out there is never give up. Always continue to look for resources. There's plenty of resources out there. Just try to see, I would talk to stakeholders again, making sure what the district wants to do, what the community is looking for, and just go out there and get it.
Paul, thank you so much.
Yes, well, thank you very much. And thank you to everything that you guys do for us out there. Good luck to all the rest of the candidates, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.